Welcome to another exciting edition of Power Wheel, a production of the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN. We hope to bring you top news stories from the power sector. I am Chinwenwa Anyanwu. The Federal Ministry of Power, Works and Housing, in conjunction with the Transmission Company of Nigeria, have held a meeting with the original equipment manufacturers as part of the bidding processes for the procurement of compact distribution substations and other equipment to boost capacity of distribution networks.
The Managing Director of TCN, Mr. Usman Gur Mohammed, who was represented by the Head System Operations SO TCN, Engineer Mamman Jimo Lawal, said so much has been invested in the generation section and there is enough transmission capacity, but that it cannot be deployed except there is more investment to expand distribution networks.
So this has been the reason why the distribution expansion program was brought on board with the cooperation of the Transmission Company of Nigeria and, I would say, the Nigerian government. The ministry has been quite supportive. In fact, they appear to be, leading in the entire process, but TCN is actually doing all it could to ensure that we develop capacity in distribution.
He said TCN has restructured its procurement process to get value for money, which necessitated a meeting so that parties can have understanding of the requirements for the procurement of the equipment.
I would indulge you, ladies and gentlemen, to key into this. Our expectation is that you will interact with us effectively, lay bare your minds. Whatever observations you have, please bring them forth.
The Project Manager, Distribution and Expansion Program, TCN, Engineer Ahmed Ibrahim Keitafi, told the meeting that 13 inquiries were received by TCN from various bidders, of which the company responded to them. However, in addition, TCN called for the meeting of the bidders for mutual interactions to address the issues raised.
Some of the issues that actually complaints were made on are extension of submission bids, extension of the date for submission of the bids. This we say categorically no. There's not going to be any extension because we're already running behind schedule. And that's why we decided to hold this conference. And let's give you 2 weeks, at least 2 weeks, so that from this conference, if you have any issue, and you have gotten any clarification, you can still go back and address those issues in your bidding documents before you submit them.
He said the equipment upon procurement will be handed over to the various distribution companies, DISCOs, while reiterating that the date for the submission of bids from the OEM remains June 18, 2018. Engineer Keitafi also said TCN adopted the international standard of bidding to ensure that it is open and based on merits.
It's our expectations that what are going to be supplied to us through this process that we are going through is going to be of high quality and the price is going to be very, very competitive. So we are going to get value for the money we are spending on this equipment. That is our belief. That's our expectation.
A bidder, Gent Product Consortium, represented by Engineer Pat Ibe, lauded TCN for the response to the inquiries of the bidders. He said the consortium was bidding for about 4 of the projects and wanted clarification on the preferred OEM standards.
We wanted to also know, since the principal company is in China, they have all the laboratories in China that meet IEC standards. But the documents kept referring to European labs only. So we wanted to confirm that as long as this laboratory meets the standards, that they are also acceptable, even though they're in China.
Responding, the Consultant Distribution and Expansion Plan, Engineer Kingsley Odo, said that the TCN team had taken notes of the inquiries and will respond through all the available platforms, adding that TCN will not compromise on the European standard compact substations.
IEC 62271-202. This is a standard that we're talking about. The package substation must have passed and must have been certified by a lab that has this standard certification. IEC 62271-202. Now, so this is what we're saying. If the lab in China has this level of certification, we'll consider that. But we know that the European labs have this level of certification. And we're not going to compromise on this level of certification.
He also said TCN was given a time limit by the Federal Executive Council to deliver on the projects. He added that after the bids opening and the emergence of successful bidders, the various distribution equipment are expected to be delivered to the networks within 120 days.
So please bear with us, understand with us that if we could extend it, we would, but we cannot because of the very reason we have given. Please work within this time frame. We are sure that you'll be able to deliver.
The West African Power Pool, the ECOWAS Regional Electricity Regulatory Authority, and key operators in the Nigerian power industry have converged to synergize on strategies for a robust regional electricity market to boost energy supply capacity in the sub-region.
During a technical meeting held at the Transmission Company of Nigeria TCN headquarters in Abuja, the Managing Director of TCN and Chairman of WAP, Mr. Usman Gur Mohammed, said the distribution companies, DISCOs, in Nigeria have applied for WAP membership.
By the grace of God, maybe before the end of this year, the documentation will be finalized and they will be member of WAP. I also want to inform you that the energy we send to Benin through Paras is actually sold to Benin Electricity Distribution Company. It's not to CEB. You know, between Benin and Togo, they have one transmission company which the two countries are owning, which is called CEB. But the two countries also have their own distribution companies. SPE, for information, is a member of WAP and is on the board of WAP. They have been buying 60 megawatts from Paras, and the transmission company have been sending the energy to them, I think for over 1 year now. So this will tell you that it's not this WAP is not a business of only transmission and generation, but also distribution companies.
He noted that TCN has improved its services and has commissioned a consultant to do a report on the implementation of a supervisory control and data acquisition SCADA system to monitor its networks. Mohammed said the company will soon bring in experts across the world to develop a blueprint for a robust SCADA system that will not fail.
This one is what we are going to do to ensure that we have functional SCADA. This time around, we cannot fail. And I also want to tell you that WAP has also a program for SCADA, which is also going to interconnect all the regional member countries, which every regional member country that create problem, the SCADA will be able to see it. And that's why we are talking about the dark fiber, where one of our fiber optic line for each of the countries will be given to ICC, so that they will use it for the purpose of monitoring the regional grid.
Mohammed said WAP is working to standardize the frequency of member countries and the energy dispatch procedures which have been implemented at TCN. He also noted that the sub-region is working on having surveillance and backup structures using fiber optics for the infrastructures to have seamless operation during disasters. The head System Operations SO at TCN, Engineer Mamman Jimo Lawal, who explained the process of securing a backup control center, which TCN already has, said it helps the system to continue operation seamlessly in times of disaster. He said there was an assurance from WAP to expedite action on setting up a backup control center for the regional markets.
It's actually an integral part of what they refer to as disaster recovery management strategy. That is, if it happens that a disaster occurs in the main control center, how do you ensure you have seamless operation? That is the principle. And it is the standard the world over. Ordinarily, the main control center and the backup control center ought to have been pursued alongside. Alright? Because disaster does not notify you that it's about to happen, isn't it? So the principle is that as the main control center is instituted, the backup control center has to come on stream as well.
Chairman of ERERA, Professor Honore Segi Bugler, who explained the mandates of the authority, said it was meant to regulate the regional electricity trading, while national regulatory bodies in each country regulate the national electricity markets. He urged the regulators of each country to have some level of cooperation with ERERA.
We cannot not have a regional market working well without national markets working well. So they are interdependent. That's why the directive that I've talked about, the directive of 2013, initiated by ERERA, has put an obligation on each member state to put in place a real independent regulator that will have at least the functions of setting the electricity tariffs on the national level, and also have the mandate of the markets, the national market surveillance. So what the regulation says, that ERERA should have a cooperation, sound cooperation with the national regulators.
The Secretary General of WAP, Mr. Sengi Ki Apollonier, said the distribution firms are at the point of collecting revenues for the electricity supply to consumers and remain critical to the value chain, even in the regional electricity trade. He urged them to invest more in the system and key into regional market process under WAP.
If you are not collecting enough money, you cannot pay the transmission company, you will not be able to pay the generation company. They will no more generate, and even the transmission company will not have money to invest and make the flow of energy. So this is why we brought in the distribution company. I can tell you in Ghana there is 2 distribution companies, bigger one and small one, that have been always member of WAP. Yeah, they are on the board. And in Sierra Leone, for instance, you have a distribution company and generation. The distribution company is the first one to be member of WAP. And you see, and others, there are others, and as Chairman said, most of the companies really are fully vertically integrated. That is, they are dealing with distribution. So I want to say that really distribution is very important for the system. If you do not deal with distribution, you will lack money. Yeah, because they will not, if we cannot collect the money and get it in the system, you have problems. And so this is why we are hoping to get them on board, and also to strengthen their capacities.
Let's take a break for a short message. Please stay tuned.
Verify that land before you buy it. To drastically reduce the incidence of building under the transmission right-of-way or encroaching on designated TCN land, members of the public are hereby requested to verify land near or along transmission line route before purchasing it. Verification should be made in the Land Development Authority or at the TCN office. This would help in drastically reducing the incidence of building under transmission line right-of-way and save us all the problem of pulling down the structure or truncating transmission line expansion projects in your community due to court injunction. Help us serve you better. Verify that land before you buy it.
Thanks for staying with Power Wheel. More on Power News. The Transmission Company of Nigeria has upgraded the 132 by 33 kVA Abeokuta transmission substation by installing a new 60 megavolt ampere capacity transformer to boost electricity supply in Ogun State.
Addressing the Minister of State to Power Works and Housing, Surveyor Suleiman Hassan Zarma, during an inspection tour to the substation recently, the Assistant General Manager Transmission Lagos, Engineer Charles Iwumadi, said transformer will complement 3 others in the station.
We have installed capacity. We have about 3 transformers here already. Installed capacity of about 150 MVA. And that is as a result of the new installation. We used to have 2 by 30 MVA, 3 by 30 MVA in the action, but 2 of them have been upgraded to 60 MVA.
The Assistant General Manager, AGM Transmission, Papalanto Sub-Region of TCN, Engineer Adeonikpekun Adeshina, said the upgraded 150 MVA substation will ensure the delivery of more electricity to power consumers with more assurance of steady supply of electricity to Abeokuta Township, Imeko, Lagos Road, part of Shagamu, and the University of Agriculture, Abeokuta.
This station used to be a 90 MVA station, but with the introduction of these 2 new transformers, it has become a 150 MVA station now. And the implication is we have more energy to deliver to the masses. We used to have quite a number of suppressed loads or load shedding, but with this, I think this issue of load shedding or suppressed load is a thing of the past now. We have in Meko town, we have UNAB. It used to be on a dedicated feeder, but because of low level of the energy we have, we lashed it with some other feeder. But by the time this project comes up fully, I can tell you UNAB will have its own steady supply, and places like Owode, Lagos Road, and some parts of Shagamu, because we have a Shagamu feeder too from here, will really enjoy the installation.
Adeshina also said TCN was carrying out more projects, which include the restringing of a 132 kV line in Abeokuta town to make it a double circuit line that will enable more energy supply from the Lagos region.
We can have more energy from Lagos coming to Abeokuta, and then with the upgrade of these transformers too, we can have more energy to deliver to the masses.
The minister who briefed newsmen said the essence of visiting the substation was to see the improvement government was bringing to the power sector. He noted that the federal government was committed to increasing power supply across the country by building more substations to drive the capacities of more industries and create job opportunities.
This used to be a 90 MVA station served by 3 units of 30 MVA. 2 units were removed and replaced by 2 60 MVA. That is bringing it up to now 150 MVA. And you've also had, with that, it will increase the wheeling capacity of power onto the distribution companies. You've also heard that there are another line that is coming, that is being worked upon now by TCN to increase the flexibility of power supply to around these places.
Zarma said Ogun State was now the industrial hub of Nigeria and that it requires more power supply that will drive the industries and boost the economy of the country.
Ogun State is now the industrial hub of this country. So what do we require? More power. So that is now the thinking of the president, that we should invest more here so that we can get that power to drive the industries and further drive the economy of this country.
Mainstream Energy Solutions Limited, the concessionaire of Kainji and Jeba hydropower generation companies, GENCOs, in Niger State, has commended the federal government on the eligible customer regulation that now enables power firms to directly connect more willing buyers of electricity.
The managing director, Engineer Lamu Audu, gave the commendation when he received a delegation from the Federal Ministry of Power, Works and Housing, led by the acting director of Press and Public Relations, Power Sector, Mrs. Ettore Thomas at the Jeba Genco. He explained that electricity users who can take over 2 megawatts of power can enter into a bilateral contract with the Gencos directly for uninterrupted supply.
Your capacity to take must be above 2 megawatts and above. Then we can sit down and discuss to see how we can sell power to you, either through TCN, or that is if you are taking on 132 or 330 voltage level,
between generating companies
or
and eligible customers.
If you are on 33 or 11, where you will have to utilize the distribution network, which you will pay royalty to them for using their network.
Aldo also said the Gencos can also enter into agreement on transmission use of system, TUOS, with the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, where it pays TCN to use its systems to send power to an eligible customer. He added that 6 of such contracts have already been executed as MESL immediately keyed into the regulation.
We pay them to convey the power to our customers. And so I think for mainstream, some of you may be aware, we are the trailblazer. We already have 6 PPS executed. So far, no generating company has signed any PPA with any eligible customer. Mainstream is leading.
Mrs. Thomas, while addressing pressmen, said officials of the ministry are visiting various power project sites across the country to appreciate the enormous work done by the federal government in its quest to improve the power sector.
We needed to carry the press along to present the power projects government is embarking on, both completed and uncompleted, and then to assess the level of work done there and how it has impacted on the citizenry as a whole.
She noted that the delegation had visited Zungeru hydropower site where construction work was ongoing. She lauded the management of the Jeba Genco for consistently generating power and contributing same to the national grid.
I'm impressed. At least the plant is actually generating power. He's adding to the national grid. Challenges, yes, there's nothing in life that does not have challenges, but they are working towards overcoming the challenges. It's something that is not unsurmountable. It shall be overcome, and we'll get on with what the projects at hand.
On the eligible customer regulation, the ministry power sector spokesperson said it was one of the best solutions for liberating the power sector, as electricity users now have options for consistent and stable power supply. She lauded the President Muhammadu Buhari's administration for the giant leap in the power sector.
We are doing well. Kudos to my ministry, kudos to President Buhari's administration, and kudos to my honorable minister. They are doing a lot of work, and we should continue in the tempo we are going.
Stay tuned as we bring you the soundbite of the week.
I think that we should now move and take benefit of the policy of the federal government approved by Mr. President, the eligible customer policy. It is meant to decentralize access to power. For those who consume heavy power, 2 megawatts and above, you can directly contract with your Genco through TCN if you are not satisfied with what your DISCO is giving you. That's to decentralize power. That's restructuring power. The other policy is the mini-grid policy, which allows you, if you are producing 1 megawatt of power and less, you don't need anybody's approval to do that. So it's just like buying your generator, but this time it's cleaner power, it's efficient. You can build your own small grid.
Stay put as we bring you more news in the Power Flash segment. have come to the end of this edition. Let's do it again next week. Until then, you can reach us through our YouTube channel and other social media platforms on your screen. I am Chinwenwa Anyao. Bye for now.